please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, welcome back to another exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start from a tweet from Dexatu. NPC Miles Morales broke character and went after his viewers on TikTok. Now this TikTok user is called Leaks World. They have 851,000 followers and they basically cosplay as Miles Morales around places. Yeah, they get a lot of views, but they make the most of their money from live streaming as an NPC. Now the NPC trend, there have been a few people who have stood out and managed to make something really big themselves because of it, some making tens of thousands for one stream. I as an individual may not be overly fond of this, but the cringe must be observed by all. So I'm going to play a different video first, introducing you to Miles Morales.
There's a new king in town, claimed to be the king of NPC.
Hey, I heard you're looking for Spider-Man. My name is Miles Morales, and I'm the king of NPCs. Nobody's doing it like me.
That was another NPC person doing an introduction. The weak tea version of Michael Buffer. Let's get ready to rumble and all that. Here's the clip that was doing its rounds on Twitter.
There's 11,000 people in here. There's 11,000 people in here, and you guys are not tapping the screen, okay? Make sure that you're tapping the screen. There's 11,000 people in here. There's 11,000 people in here, okay? Tap the goddamn screen, okay? Tap the goddamn screen, okay? You see this button right here? Press the button, okay? Press the button. Thanks for follow. You guys are amazing.
I understand that when this is your occupation, you are going to want to ask for likes. Taps on the screen, follows, of course. I have at the beginning of my videos the like, share and subscribe. I fully understand it. To break character because for 10 minutes you didn't get a galaxy, which is about $13, is a bit weird. Entitled. Let's go with that. When I stream on Twitch, I don't think you all owe me bits all the time. No. I think you're there and you decide for yourself if I am worth that. In the case of NPC Miles Morales, it's a bit of a strange one. I can understand you go out onto the streets, you put in the effort, you rub people up the wrong way, sometimes you get into trouble, which is actually the case with this particular user. On multiple occasions, they have gotten into trouble, and I'm going to show you some of that because it comes from their more recent videos on TikTok. The first incident that they covered that we should cover concerned them getting some attention on the street.
I didn't know what you was doing.
Love, bro.
Look. This right here.
Everybody does it to me, right? Everybody does it to me.
Right?
It's cool.
So why this motherfucker his feelings?
It's cool. People just try to defend me, you know what I mean? Because people know what I'm doing.
So why you been a
But no, don't worry about it.
The second concerned their name because they've become a little bit of a celebrity in their own way. Getting them a night out, getting them inebriated, getting them into trouble, and getting them, well, this.
No, bro, we're sick. Because if you take my phone, I'm
World.
He's not gonna take your phone.
Nigga, he doesn't need your phone.
Oh shit!
A trip to the hospital, not going to show you that picture. They once chased someone down the street because they gave them stick while they were live. They've gotten into trouble with the police a few times actually because of these live streams. The IRL NPC thing's a strange one because it can be considered busking to an extent, and some places require licenses for that, or permits. In the case of NPC Miles Morales, no, you do your thing. As long as you give them galaxies so they know you love them. 11,000 people watching, everyone. If 11,000 people have time to watch, you have time to give him galaxy. If 11,000 people right now gave him a galaxy, he'd have 11,000 galaxies. He'd be minted until he paid tax on it, if he pays his taxes, and then blew it on the insurance on the car that he undoubtedly never drives but shows everyone he has it to give off the big dick energy. And in before someone in my comments tells me, Meg, 11,000 galaxies at a value of $13.50 is $148,500. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that for me. You saved me having to do it for myself. I have in the past given NPC streamers stick, not because of their occupation, because they make more money than me, but because a lot of them give off very entitled vibes. Vibes that I find quite bothersome, especially because I'm one of the older millennials. and my generation is often regarded as one of the more entitled generations. At the same time, I cannot fault these people for the level of entitlement when it comes at the cost of them having to constantly put themselves out there. There is a balance, right? You're willing to do the very thing I am not willing to do. But if you guys, my audience, have time to watch, you have time to give me galaxies. Please give me galaxies so you can get the suitable response from me of, "You're a smeghead." That's what you'll get for every galaxy you send, "You're a smeghead." Granted, it won't be in the comments because that would take far too long and I know what you guys are like. I just wanted to showcase that there are creators like this who beg it a bit too aggressively and a bit too much. And also because we're all a bit older, aren't we? We can look down on the TikTok NPC streamers, can't we? Are we allowed to do that? Of course we are. We're on YouTube after all. While we're in the ballpark of YouTube, perhaps now would be a good time to segue and talk about this platform. Again, courtesy of Dexatoo, but we're going to go straight to an article from them instead. For many of us creators, we rely on Patreon, we rely on Coffee, Streamlabs, donations. We rely on YouTube ads if we're able to be monetized. And that is where the bulk of my income comes from on YouTube, from ads. But over the years since the adpocalypse to now, ads have become less valuable. So YouTube, trying to maintain its profit margin, inserted more ads. Removed the boxed ones, the ones with a little X on that popped up at the bottom of videos. They got rid of that and gave us multi-length, multi-ads akin to what Twitch do if you're not a subscriber. Now the intention behind this was to push more people to YouTube Premium. 100 million people have YouTube Premium, and if everyone had it, of course, we the creators would benefit more because the CPM is higher with those that have Premium. CPM is how much we get per 1,000 views. However, YouTube is not Netflix, so I don't tell people to get Premium. I don't tell anyone to do that because I don't think that's a better way to support me, because I'm a selfish individual. I also don't like to enable people to support the platform because the platform take far too much from the viewer under the guise of a privilege to facilitate. Like for example Super Chats, where they take 40 or 30%. It doesn't matter how much they take really, it's still too high. Beyond using your platform to stream, my audience should not be paying you 30 to 40% of their donation to you because you do not contribute towards my stream. Be pedantic in the comments, I know someone's going to. Don't. I'm making a point, let me get there first. As many of you all know, last year YouTube introduced a ad blocker, so you could not view videos on YouTube if you used ad blocker. Many people stopped using Chrome because of that, because alternative browsers allowed you to be able to use the ad blocker and get around it. Some going to Brave, I believe. YouTube though aren't done. Rather than engaging with the creators and the audiences and listening to us for a change and implementing changes that benefit all, because they don't listen to anyone, have decided to crack down further on people using ad blockers while watching videos, revealing they're now coming after third-party apps. I feel that YouTube are attacking this the wrong way, because I do believe discourse to be the better path forward. A civil discourse can in fact be achieved. If you would bother to listen to the creators that have been telling you for years, the only reason the ad blocker exists is because you are so desperate for the ad money for yourselves, because we don't benefit as much from it, that you are not actually considering that you are under the thumb of the advertiser. Your platform only exists because of the creators. Only because of them. Your faulty coding is your problem. The fact you've given the advertiser so much leeway is your problem. Your unwillingness to listen speaks volumes about how arrogant and prideful you are when it comes to us clearly having a better grasp on the situation. People are going to ad blocker because you're inserting too many ads, too many inconsistently lengthed ads, and you are doing it on purpose. Many of them are unskippable. No one's going to sit there for a 10-minute ad. No one's going to sit there for a 2-minute ad. You get less ad breaks in length on television. If you're trying to emulate a TV network, you are failing miserably because you are taking more of an advantage than the television does. And you're not pushing more people to YouTube Premium, you're pushing more people to use alternative browsers, to find alternative ways so that they can continue to use adblock, because many would rather directly support the creators they watch, knowing that they then get the creator receive the majority of the money they are giving them. Hence why a lot of people do not care for super chats. You are trying to be many things at once, and apparently in doing so, you have forgotten what you're meant to be doing. Improving the platform for all. This is not improving the platform for all in the slightest. It is a completely pointless crusade, akin to that of the war on drugs. On the 15th of April, YouTube made a post saying viewers who are using these third-party apps may experience buffering issues or see the error, the following content is not available on this app when trying to watch a video. We want to emphasize that we do not allow third-party apps to turn off ads, because that prevents the creator from being rewarded for viewership, and ads on YouTube help support creators and let billions of people around the world use the streaming service. Just the thing, even with the views I get monthly, a few 100,000 a month, I make sod all from ads. Your ads right now are redundant. If you wanted to be better at this, you'd make it so ads year-round had a level of consistency to it, but you don't. If you want some solutions to problems, why not seek help from those who you are claiming to stand up for? But that means listening to us. Every year you put a little box on the YouTube Studio page asking us to fill out a survey so we can give you some feedback. I doubt you've ever listened or read so much as one of these feedback surveys and gone, "Ooh, that's an idea we can implement." And if you had, you sure as hell didn't credit the creator for it. So I think we should have 2 honourable mentions before we finish this video. The first, a man was arrested after throwing a Pop-Tart at a Walgreens employee. You see in this article here it references allegedly. We'll get to that soon, don't worry. This happened on Monday the 8th of April. An officer was called to a Walgreens after a theft call. A member of staff of Walgreens had recognised the suspect, the perp, because they'd been in that store a number of times and shoplifted, so they followed them around. When they were approached, the suspect that is, by the employee, they then launched a Pop-Tart at the Walgreens employee, causing pain, as it says here. The suspect then made a movement that had the Walgreens employee believe a knife or a firearm, so they retreated into the store and the suspect fled with $59 worth of stolen goods. They were then arrested not long after. Their name is Jonathan Agassi Steele, and they admitted to the crime. So the allegedly part at the top of the article is redundant. They've admitted to throwing the Pop-Tart, which subsequently led to them being charged with a second-degree felony robbery by assault. I wonder if they can make one up for by Pop-Tart. That's one. The second, we insert Kevin Legge, an experienced manager in his early 50s who was based in Peterborough, who was fired from his job because he is a non-feminist. This went to a employment tribunal, and a judge ruled that not agreeing with equality and diversity in the workplace is a questionable belief not worthy of respect or compatible with human dignity and that conflicts with the rights of colleagues. Holding such views could be in breach of equality laws, and that he was not within his right to claim that being removed for being a non-feminist from his position as a manager was discriminatory. Just a thing, because I think feminism is laughable still. You can be about equality and not be a feminist. You really can. I'm not a feminist, but I support equality. If you now want to say, oh, but if you are equality type person, then surely you're a feminist. No, shut up. Get off your high horse. I do not require a label or some poxy movement that's been co-opted by morons to subscribe to justify equality. Equality doesn't need a name, doesn't need a label. It is, and should be, existing really. Although No Lives Matter is fairly consistent at this point. Now there is another aspect to this. The Environment Agency that he worked for denied his claim and told the tribunal he'd been sacked after he committed fraud because he claimed a full-time salary while taking time off during the working day to provide counselling sessions. As a consequence, he was ordered to pay £20,000 of the agency's £106,000 legal costs. What baffles me though is there are 2 separate arguments here. One about being a non-feminist, which tickles me to no end, and the other part being the accusation of fraud. Because if fraud was committed, there's a completely different argument there to be had. The non-feminist part though was what the tribunal actually suggested. It was almost hyper-focused on, in fact, because they had to accept that he believed in non-feminism, indicating also that it qualifies as a belief rather than an opinion or viewpoint, although even that is questionable. It got really semantics and pedantic type thing, moment situation type deal. Bit cringe really, isn't it? On to the final subject. Let's insert Prince Harry. Recently it was announced that the Duke of Sussex could be forced to settle his legal claim against the Sun's publisher, NGN News Group newspapers, because of rising legal costs. This is what the High Court has recently been told. Prince Harry alleged that he was targeted by journalists and private investigators, as many of you know, because this is his one-dimensional play along with that of his family being racist. He is among a number of people to bring cases against the publisher, many of whom have since settled. At a hearing on Wednesday, it was revealed that actor Hugh Grant had settled his case due to a risk of a £10 million legal bill if his case went to trial. David Shearborn, who represents Harry and others, told a judge that the Duke is subject to the same issues Sienna Miller and Hugh Grant have been subject to, along with saying that the Duke had previously said he would continue to bring his claim, adding that settlement is forced upon people bringing claims in the NGN litigation. Hugh Grant actually tweeted about this, about settling this out of court as part of a thread, because he would still be liable for costs approaching £10 million, and that he is unwilling to fork over such a sum of money for this principal matter. Sienna Miller had settled her case years ago, in fact. NGN had actually asked the judge to instead hold an initial trial that month to decide whether the case against the publisher had been brought too late and outside a legal time limit. This potential preliminary trial would not determine the full details of the allegations, and could result in findings that some claims are time-barred and therefore should be dismissed. This, NGN believe, is the most efficient way of dealing with the case. The reason NGN did that is because parts of Mr. Grant, Hugh Grant's claims, were out of time, which is why they reached a settlement, because it would have gotten too expensive for Hugh Grant to push the rest, along with him blinking first. While Harry is well within his right to push this from a legal position, the problem he has is he can't rely on others to fund this. It's all on him, and the well, as everyone knows from last year, is starting to dry up. So he will have to at some point make a decision as to whether or not he is willing to pull that trigger. The judge in this instance is going to give a ruling on Friday about that, about whether or not some of these accusations are out of time. If some of Hugh Grant's were, then there is a distinct possibility some of Harry's may well also fall out of time. Compound that with the fact that this is going to cost as much, if not more, for Harry, because he has another case against Daily Mail, I believe, and this is going to get much more expensive for him, with the chances of him winning being unknown. And we say unknown because so many people have already pulled out and settled. They blinked and took money instead of principal and money. Well, the risk for the reward. Easy way out, we all like to settle, don't we? Another issue Harry has though is he can't settle. If he does, he will look like the biggest bitch of all those that brought the case against NGN. He would look like that because he's built his career off of two things: his mother and crapping on his family. That's what he did. If he blinks and settles for money instead, then he hasn't proven guilt or any of his accusations. He's just shown he's willing to, for the right price, do what he thinks is better for him, which would in turn mean Ted DiBiase was correct.